We have some breaking news this afternoon. We have learned today that multiple people were injured, apparently burned, in an attack that happened on Pearl Street in Boulder this afternoon.
An organizer with the group Run for Their Lives says it happened during a weekly march for hostages. Now, Boulder Police is about to have a news conference here in the next couple of minutes, and we'll take you there in just a second. But first, we want to share a little bit of what we know right now through what our reporting has told us. Today, there's a group called Run for Their Lives that every week holds marches in Denver and Boulder to raise awareness for Israeli hostages in Gaza. We're told today there were about 30 to 40 people marching through Boulder. When they made it to the end of their route, which was near the courthouse and town hall there in Boulder, an organizer for that group says that there was a man who was waiting there with what appeared to be Molotov cocktails or some sort of explosive and threw one of those objects towards the crowd that was marching with Israeli flags, as well as American flags and pictures of Israeli hostages. We're told that there was a fire that was started. At least 5 people were burned, and at least 1 person was taken to the hospital at UC Health. Right now, the FBI is investigating this as an act of terror and targeted violence.
We are not aware of the extent of injuries at this point, but we know that University of Colorado Hospital, which we know is based in Aurora, has confirmed that they've received at least 2 patients from this attack so far. Also, the area in and around Pearl Street is on an evacuation order right now. Several blocks to the north, south, west, east of that area is completely blocked off. Nobody's allowed in that area. We have crews who are working to connect with the police department, the FBI, anybody who is investigating what happened here. Again, we expect to hear from the police department very soon. We're going to carry that live here so you can listen in. We're trying to learn more about who all was around that area at that time. A number of witnesses have reached out to say they saw this happen, very confused by it, seeing the fire.
At this point, we still don't know if anybody has been arrested. We aim to learn that in just a couple of minutes here from the Boulder Police Department. We have heard from both the governor's office as well as the attorney general's office. The governor's office says that Governor Polis is monitoring the situation, and we're expecting to hear from the attorney general in just a couple of minutes after the Boulder Police Conference. Here is the quote from Governor Jared Polis. I want to read that to you. This just came in about 30 minutes ago. "I'm closely monitoring the situation in Boulder, and my thoughts go out to the people who have been injured and impacted by this heinous act of terror. Hate-filled acts of any kind are unacceptable. While details emerge, the state works with local and federal law enforcement to support this investigation. More information will be provided as that becomes available." Again, the FBI is investigating this act as an act of terror and targeted violence as we wait to learn more here from the Boulder Police Department. This is a tweet from FBI Director Kash Patel. He says, "We're aware of and fully investigating a targeted terror attack in Boulder, Colorado. Our agents and local law enforcement are on scene already, and we will share updates as more information becomes available."
Again, we have heard from organizers of this walk where the victims were a part of that group. We're told about 5 people were injured. UC Health, University of Colorado Hospital, is telling us that they have received 2 of these victims at their hospital. I believe we have the tweet from the hospital organization here we can share with you, potentially, but they're telling us that 2 of the patients have gone there. Here we go. Thank you very much. 2 patients from the incident in Boulder. Due to patient privacy, of course, they're not going to share additional information about those patients. Mark Salinger, you spoke to an organizer. There is a couple people that are behind this about what's going on. We'd like to hear more from them.
My name is Stephen Redfern. I serve as the police chief here in
Boulder
Boulder,
Police
Colorado.
Department, giving us an update. Let's listen in.
Today I'm here to give you very preliminary information about an attack that occurred here in downtown Boulder at about 1:26 p.m. today. At that time, Boulder dispatch received several calls to the county courthouse located at 1325 Pearl Street here in Boulder. The initial callers indicated that there was a man with a weapon and that people were being set on fire. The initial response by our officers, we were on scene very quickly. When we arrived, we encountered multiple victims that were injured with injuries consistent with burns and other injuries. While our officers and paramedics and fire department personnel got those victims quickly to the hospital, our officers were pointed out, a suspect was pointed out to our officers on the scene. Our officers immediately encountered that suspect who was taken into custody without incident. That suspect, who I'm not able to ID at this time, was taken to the hospital with some minor injuries as well. And there's a lot more we're investigating right now before I'm able to release information on that person. The scene itself is contained but we have a large area here in downtown Boulder closed off right now. Businesses have been closed, and we have asked people to avoid the area. This area is not safe yet. We're dealing with a vehicle of interest. We're dealing with a large area that we are making sure it's safe before we allow people to come back into the scene. If your vehicle is here in the several block perimeter that we have, please follow our social media. We will announce when the roads are open and people can retrieve their vehicle as well. I appreciate everyone's patience as we work through this complex scene. What I will say lastly is this was a beautiful Sunday afternoon in downtown Boulder on Pearl Street. And this act is unacceptable. I hope you'll join me this evening as we're working through this investigation. We are working, I just came from the command post. We've got dozens and dozens of people here, our state, local, and federal partners working through this to figure out exactly what happened. I ask for a little bit of patience as we do that, but also I ask that you join me in thinking about our victims, the families of those victims, and everyone involved in this tragedy. Our hearts go out to them, and we are going to do everything we can to work as hard as we can throughout the evening to provide more information and get answers for everyone. With that, as I stated, it would be irresponsible for me to speculate right now on motive and other things. I will take maybe a handful of questions, but then I've got to go back to a briefing.
I had a quick one.
Yes, Shaw.
Was an actual protest going on when this occurred? Were a group of people gathered and were words said that would indicate this had anything at all to do with that protest?
So what I will tell you, on Pearl Street, it's a walking pedestrian mall downtown here. There was a lot of people out. Very beautiful day. There was a group of pro-Israel people that were there in a peaceful demonstration. I wouldn't even call it a protest. I believe that happens frequently down here. They were there in that area. We are looking and actively interviewing victims and witnesses to determine if that group was targeted or others, and we just don't have those answers yet. Those are things we hope to be able to provide you later this evening.
FBI is already calling it a targeted terror attack.
Mm-hmm.
Would you also refer to it as a terror attack?
So I've been in contact with our local FBI multiple times. We are in contact with them here. We are not calling it a terror attack at this point. Again, it's way too early to speculate motive. I know there's a lot out there on social media, but I ask people just to give us a little bit of patience while we work through a really complex scene. A lot of witnesses were here. We've taken them to another location to debrief them and interview them. As we do that, I think the picture will become more clear. But it would be irresponsible for me to speculate on motive this early on. We're only a couple hours into this thing.
Was something wrong?
I'll go right here.
About the suspect, can you confirm the description about him? Because we know any picture running in social media.
I haven't seen it, and I wasn't here when he was arrested. All I know is it's an adult male. We're working to identify that person. We're working to figure out where they're from, and we're in contact with our federal partners as well as we figure that out.
Was something thrown at the group?
That is being investigated as well. So our initial call, as I mentioned, was a report that someone was setting people on fire. That is fairly consistent with the injuries that we found on scene, but we're not 100% certain how that happened, and that's what we're doing to interview. There's a lot of witnesses that we're interviewing. I suspect within this evening, we'll have a better idea of exactly how those injuries occurred.
Are you guys going to have additional security for Jewish and Israeli people helping the hostages in the circle right now? Because this is a weekly occurrence, are you guys going to now have some additional security measures to protect Jews in Boulder?
So what I will say is, again, I cannot confirm right now that this was targeted at a specific group of people. We understand that there's a lot of tensions right now and a lot of issues in the United States and everywhere. Once we have a clear motive, we will react accordingly. And if that motive was a group was targeted, we will absolutely step up and ensure that additional security, additional presence. We want people to feel safe no matter what they're here for.
How many people were injured?
I don't have an exact number. What I will say is multiple. I can confirm that Boulder Community Hospital received multiple patients, and some of those patients were transferred to other hospitals. Right now, we have detectives working to find out specifically the number. Again, hopefully later this evening we'll have an exact number. Right now, I'll just say multiple. Take one more question.
Any life-threatening injuries?
I believe so. What I'm being told is there are a range of injuries from very serious to more minor. And again, I just am. My heart goes out to those victims, and we're keeping them in our thoughts, prayers, and minds as they recover. I got to go back to the command post.
Can you take this call?
And I'll tell you that
Excuse
we are going to have another update later tonight. We will post that out and we will live stream it as well. So follow our social media for the next update. We will have another update for you this evening. Thank you.
That was Boulder Police Chief Stephen Redfern there providing
We
an
will put
update
that
on
out when
what they believe has happened right now on Pearl Street there in Boulder. Want to go through step by step and say what we know and then what our reporting has told us. Again, we know that at least 5 people were injured is what groups on the ground tell us there. We know that 2 people were taken to UC Health in what Boulder Police Chief Stephen Redfern is saying is in a variance of conditions, some potentially life-threatening is what he is believing. But again, this is very early on in the investigation.
We know that a suspect has been arrested, an adult male. They've not identified this man yet, and the police chief says he's not ready to point to any specific motives. He's not even ready to call this a targeted terror attack yet. Worth noting, the FBI already is. These are questions we are asking as well. They still have that area in and around Pearl Street blocked off tonight to the public because they said it's just not safe yet. What does not safe yet mean? The police chief says there is a vehicle of interest in that area and they're doing other investigative work at this time.
So we're still working to find out exactly, again, what happened here. So Boulder Police Chief Stephen Redfern has said that there was a group in the area that was marching in support of Israel and Israeli hostages being held in Gaza. As we take a look at new scene video from here in Boulder with a large police presence, obviously bomb squad and SWAT teams moving in through the area. This is right in the heart of Boulder, right on Pearl Street there. We do know, however, from our reporting that there was a group called Run for Their Lives, which holds marches in both Denver and Boulder on a weekly basis every Sunday afternoon. And they do so in support of Israeli hostages being held in Gaza right now. One of the organizers, I spoke with her just about 30 minutes ago, says that they were in the area at the time when they believed that their group was targeted by a man who was holding what looked to be Molotov cocktails or some sort of flammable object in a bottle. And from that group, the March from Their Lives group that was holding that pro-Israeli or march to raise awareness for Israeli hostages, they believed that they were targeted when he threw what looked to be a flammable object at them. That organizer of that march said that 5 people within that march were injured, including one elderly woman who, she tells us, one of the organizers says that elderly woman was caught on fire, her clothes were on fire, and had to roll around on the ground to try and get that fire off of her, to try and put out that fire. We are told that she is one of at least 2 people that was taken to a hospital. UC Health, again, has confirmed that at least 2 people have been taken to the emergency room.